What's up guys, Luis here and welcome back to the channel. On today's video we're going to be going over March's numbers as far as revenue and net profit for my Facebook Marketplace dropshipping store. It's already been about a week since March, but I just started to finalize those numbers, so sorry the video is coming out a little bit late. I know I had said that I would release it at the end of March and I'm a little bit behind schedule, so got a little busy, but here I am. So first of all, I want to say that I definitely didn't hit my goal. I ended up doing less profit than the month of February. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it also, I have nobody else to blame but myself. I definitely got a little bit comfortable, and before we get into the numbers, I want to talk about kind of the mistakes and what I didn't do that I did in February that kind of affected my numbers come March. Because March, I hit, my goal was $10,000 net profit, and I'll just say it now, I ended up profiting about $5,000 in profit compared to February, which was closer to $9,000 in net profit. Obviously, it was like $4,000 in profit less than February, so I wasn't too happy about it, but again, $5,000 extra a month didn't hurt anybody. These are some of the mistakes that I made, or not mistakes, just things that I didn't do that I was doing in February that were giving me results. So first mistake was I got a little comfortable. I kind of just got a little spoiled with the sales coming in. So I stopped listing as many products. I kind of just relied on my old products to continuously give me sales, and those products kind of faded away, and I just thought it was like something's wrong, like it's not my fault. And what I realized was in February, I was constantly listing products every single day. And March, I was kind of relying on those old products to kind of push me through and just expected the same results, which obviously is just not the case. You need to keep listing items and you need to keep listing and finding new products to sell, especially with seasonal items. Seasonal items are going to be huge. They definitely boosted my net profit in February. So that's something I need to do moving forward. And yeah, it gets tedious. And that is why I feel like I didn't do it as much this month. I was just kind of, it just gets so repetitive and you get a little bit lazy. So I was relying on those old products to get me the same results, and that was ultimately my fault. So I take full responsibility for that. So that's why I feel like my net profit this month was a lot less than the month prior. And with that being said, like I just said, it gets repetitive. So I'm actually now in the process of hiring a VA, and a VA is just going to handle all of the monotonous tasks that come with dropshipping, and that and that's going to be just fulfilling orders. Like the copying and pasting gets so old after like the first 2 weeks. It's fun at first because you're like the sale is just fun, but it just gets very repetitive. And as far as product research, like they're going to be able to list products. I'm just going to go over my terms, I'm just going to go over my criteria with them, and that way they can continue to find those products. And then another thing that they're going to handle is just customer service, because you get the same questions every day. And again, it's just going to be really repetitive, and it gets so boring and you almost don't want to do it sometimes. And I feel like that's really what affected my March numbers, was the fact that February, it was still exciting. It was still like, getting those sales, getting new messages, blah, blah, blah. And then it just becomes so normal, and you just normalize it that it's just a normal part of the day. And it just gets boring and tedious, and you don't want to do it, which is why I feel like it's so hard to scale this type of business without hiring a VA. And that's something that I've learned, and something that some of the people that I've paid to mentor me have told me, that you need to hire a VA or else you're going to quit, just because it's so boring. And you're not a robot. You can't just sit there and copy and paste for 5-6 hours a day. It's just not sustainable. Another thing I wasn't doing was I wasn't following up with customers like I was last month. Last month, if somebody decided to not buy something, I would usually follow up within a week, and I would be like, hey, are you still interested in said item? I can give you a X amount of discount, whatever it was, just to see that sale. And I wasn't converting a lot of those, but a lot of those were turning into sales. So again, I didn't do that in March, so obviously that affected my numbers. But overall, I would just say that the month of March, I wasn't as motivated as February, just because I felt like I couldn't do any worse in February because I had already been doing this longer. But again, it's getting comfortable, and that's really what affects people's numbers. So I'm just being fully transparent here, and I actually ended up doing a lot less in February. So now we're going to get into those numbers. And March compared to February was actually a longer month. I had an extra 3 or 4 days compared to February, and I still ended up doing less in net profit and sales. So obviously I was doing something wrong this month, but I know that I could have done a lot better if I had just stuck to the same things that I was doing in February, if I didn't get comfortable. But it is what it is. We're all human, and we all make, I guess, not mistakes. We all just, we're learning, and we're going to keep going. So I have it all written down here. We're going to go over those numbers now. So for week 1, we ended up doing $4,193 in revenue, and we had a net profit of $1,125. And that left me with a profit margin of 26%. So that was nothing to complain about. You know, it was still kind of riding those old products because it was the beginning of March, so I still had a lot of those February products consistently getting me sales. And for week 2, we ended up doing $2,626 in revenue and $782 in net profit. So obviously you saw that number went down. We went from $1,125 in profit to $782 in profit. So you can see everything starting to slow down, and that's because I stopped listing and I stopped finding new products. And week 3, we ended up doing $3,430 in revenue and $1,012 in net profit. So it was a better week than week 2, but again, it was nothing compared to what those weeks were looking like in February. So week 4, we ended up doing $5,080 in revenue and $1,313 in net profit. And that left us with a profit margin of 25%. And obviously March was a longer month, so we had like a half week. And that last half week, we ended up doing $2,199 in revenue and $696 in net profit. And that was a profit margin of 31%. So overall, for the entire month of March, we did $17,528 in revenue, and we ended up having a net profit of $4,928. And that left us with an overall profit margin for the entire month of 28%, which is nothing to complain about. People on Amazon and eBay and other marketplaces are lucky to get 11 to 15% profit margins. So like, these profit margins are huge compared to any other marketplace that you can compare it to right now. So again, I'm not mad about the numbers. I just know that I could have done a lot better if I had stuck to what I was doing in February, and I didn't, which is my fault. We'll see how it goes, but I will make another video at the end of April, and at that point we can kind of go over what I did wrong, what I did right. But I do feel like the marketplace in general is starting to get not super saturated, but there's more sellers on the marketplace, which means that everybody's going to start trying to undercut people, especially when a lot of people are selling the same products. So I feel like moving forward, I'm going to lower my profit margins a little bit and just try to do more volume, and hopefully that'll make up for the amount of sellers that there are on the platform now. But again, nothing is guaranteed. I'm just gonna keep trying things, see what works, see where it doesn't work. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions on what I can do to optimize my store, go ahead and drop that down in the comments. But yeah, overall, it wasn't a terrible month. I just know that I could have done better. So with that being said, you guys already know, quit the slack and make it happen. If you guys have any questions, again, go ahead and drop them down in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button, and also make sure you hit that notification bell to let you know anytime I post a video. I do post videos every Monday and Wednesday, or at least I try to. I know I've missed a couple in the last few weeks, but again, I'm doing all this while having a full-time job in the military, so I hope you guys can understand that. I'm gonna try my best to not miss any videos. So I hope you guys got some value out of this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.